Hey guys, how's it going today? So somebody requested Icon and it caught my attention because Icon, about $100 million USD is traded in a 24-hour volume, and there's a market cap of about $3 billion. So coins like this, they catch my attention, right? Bigger coins that are more notable. Not only that, it is in a top 20, so why not? And you know what? There's so many different ways to look at it. Okay, guys, I look at these charts and I all see them as opportunity. I see them as opportunity because it lets me know where they are in each, lets me know where the coins are in the phases, right? And then it lets me plan it, it lets me track it, and as it gets closer to that time where there is a possible setup, then we've got tons of coins that are already on our list, and then we can easily know which setups are worth our time. So, you know, you can look at coins, for example, just by looking down the chart on coin market cap here, right? The ones that are sideways, you get an opportunity to play the breakout regardless of which way. The one that are on the uptrend, maybe you can catch where a consolidation happens, right? The ones that are near the top already, if you're in a trade, it lets you know, it might give you a signal where to sell it, etc. Or the ones that are near the top, it might give you a signal to short it, or to let you know that, hey, down the road, maybe I should keep an eye on it. It's near the top already. Maybe I can check up on it in a few days to see where it is. Is it going to consolidate? Is it coming near a breakout? So if you guys want to be more profitable down the road, you also have to plan well down the road as well, right? It's not just a matter of sitting here and looking at coins. You have to do your homework every single day and every single night to plan. Okay, unless you're a scalper like me, where that requires an immense amount of work as well. Okay, the definition of a scalper is to take advantage of the spread, right? That's the true definition. But what I do is I play the small breakouts up or down, right? So if I feel that there's momentum for it to be going pushed up, say on a 1 minute chart or a 3 minute or 5 minute chart, right? Up really quickly, but I'm not really sure. I just want to make sure that I take my quick profits right away, right? And a lot of the times I'm successful, but a lot of the times I'm successful, but I don't take enough profit. But it's okay though. It's my specific strategy, right? So for ones like this as well, like I really recommend that you guys, you know, anyways, all I was saying was make sure that you guys are keeping a tracker. I kind of forgot what I was saying as well, because I got a lot of company here right now. That so you have things that are flowing down the pipe, right? So this is what I think is about to happen, right? So Icon is a nice coin, and we're gonna go through a quick Elliott wave review for impulse wave up. An impulse wave always has 5 waves going up like this. It has 3 waves going up and 2 waves that are going against the trend to correct the previous wave. And then when that happens, there's a big wave in here for some sort of pattern in ABC, just tip example. And within waves 4 and in waves 2, there's also some sort of corrective pattern in here like that, in that manner, okay? So just to be clear about that. Now, what I want to show you guys on a daily chart, actually, here's fine, is that we've only got 3 waves right now, okay? I always choose the point that's perpendicular right there, 90 degrees. So from the, you know, where the breakout is and where the lowest point is. So that's where I choose it personally. Just for notation purposes, right? And it is so clear that this is the top of a wave right here as well. And it wants to consolidate, right? You know what, this one I should probably draw it better. I should probably draw it properly. I should probably draw it right here where it bounces, just so we can establish some trend lines and supports that are properly annotated. Okay, so let's say that we took the same horizontal angle. All right, we're just playing around right now, and then now we're just even playing around more, cloning it. Whoa, what do you know? It kind of, you can consider that a bull break section. A small little bull break, but what do you know? It does form a channel, right? So what a lot of people do is as soon as this one here and the next support is reasonably formed, they will draw a line across it, right? and your point one is already formed, right? And this point is already formed, so you've got here, here, and here already, right? So then what you do is you just clone a line like how I did it, and you bring it over to the top point of 1, and you say to yourself, is it possible for it to reach something like that? Okay, and then the next thing that you do, as soon as this point and this point and this point is formed, even if you missed it on an uptrend, even if it was right here, for example, okay, and like right here, even if it was right here and you missed it, right, it's okay though, you could have bought into right there. How do you know when to buy into an uptrend? Okay, you know when to buy into an uptrend, this, and you guys are going to remember this for the rest of your life, and you are going to thank me. Okay, how do you know something is in an uptrend? Okay, and how do you know when it is the right time? Ignoring all indicators aside, guys, the most basic rule to follow to confirm if there's an uptrend is if it successfully closes higher than the previous high. Not the previous high, but the high that is the resistance. Okay, so right here, guys, this is the high right here. You would draw a line going just like that across it to annotate it as an actual resistance, a hard resistance, because it's the all-time high, right? And you're using it right here, not the all-time high, but the high at that time at 5318. Now, the only time you should be going into a trade, all right, do you guys know what these are considered? They're considered bull traps, where people who don't know the game well enough, they will try to buy it, right? But you don't want to buy into that. If you look on a lower time frame, okay, if you look on a lower time frame, all right, there's the all-time high, not the high of that time there, 5318. Okay, even on a lower time frame, say a 1 hour chart if you were playing it. Now, if that is the high that needs to be broken, there are a few conditions that would consider it to be an uptrend despite the RSI. Okay, the condition is that, first of all, the RSI must spike to an immense amount. Usually we're talking like 75, 80s, like higher than here even, okay, like 85, 90s, even on a 1 hour sometimes, to break a massive resistance. And another condition is that it must successfully close above it with a lot of resistance without rejection. Okay, now if you were looking at a 1 hour chart, you would just sit there hourly and you'd wait. Okay, no, this one didn't close above it. This one did not close above it as well. In fact, there's a lot of resistance to go down as well, right? Resistance to go down, not a lot of pressure to go up though. Here it has a lot of pressure to go up, right? But by the end of the candle close, the bulls tried to push it up, but they pushed it down, okay? And they pushed it down. Okay, so this one is now known as a shooting star, which implies that the bulls are losing control because the bears pushed it up, but the bulls have pushed it down, hence the long wick. And then you'll wait again. You'll say to yourself, hey, is a better candle going to form? Is it going to close above it, right? And then you see that, yes, it does close above it, but it lacks the volume conviction for you to enter a trade. Not only that, it's a doji, and a doji at the top of a very, very big uptrend, it signifies that it's the end of an uptrend and the bulls have lost control, really. So when you've taken these factors, actually this one's a good one too, this is called a hanging man. A hanging man implies that the bulls are starting to lose control. Now here, the bulls are, they're trying to make one last hurrah, but the bears are shutting them down with the rejection of the candle wick to make a shooting star now. And now the final one, right? The final one, the bulls make one more attempt, but the bears, not only did they reject them, but they start pushing it down slowly by the end. The bears push it back up a little bit, and now these three combinations of candles on an hourly chart, it indicates that the bulls have pretty much lost control. And now we get this uptrend coming down here, okay? So just to give you an idea, therefore, because no candles have successfully closed above it, right, it is not considered an impulse wave up to go. Now let's say you were looking at right here and this candle was forming, right? Ignore everything and put it aside. Ignore everything and put it aside, okay? Now during this 1 hour candle, first of all, you see that this is beautiful, okay? you see this series and this combination of candles that is parabolically moving upwards, that is a good sign, okay? Here you don't see it parabolically moving upwards. You see it diagonally moving upwards, right? Uniformly, symmetrically, right? But this one here, you see it start to parabolically move up. So this one here, the reason you don't see a lot of volume into this one, even though the volume is going up, so you need to make note of that volume moving average going up. Now, you also need to make note of the parabolic move going up right there, okay? That's what you need to do. And then this one, as soon as it formed, okay, as soon as it formed, if right here started to get a lot more volume and it was being pushed up with those combinations I mentioned, that is where you go into the trade. Because not only does it, this blue line right here is that high from way over there, okay? That blue line is way from over there. So as soon as this candle formed, and this one, you see this volume starting to spike. Because good traders, guys, this is where the volume comes from. Good traders, they recognize things like that. And then, boom, that's where you enter a trade, regardless of the RSI, okay? Regardless of the RSI, you enter a trade, okay? Who cares if you enter a trade at there? This is a different strategy that you're employing. RSI is not used for a candlestick breakout pattern. Okay, this is a breakout strategy that I'm trying to explain to you, and there's so many different kinds, okay? You need to pick a few different ones and go with it. Me, I'm an RSI trader, but it's a very, very different type of method to trade that takes years and years of experience, right? This one that I'm telling you right now is an unbelievable strategy to play breakouts, okay? That you enter a trade regardless of the RSI, and you just ride it. You ride it until basically a candle closes below the yellow one, okay? But this kind of strategy only works during a consolidation phase, okay? So when you combine the resistance and the EMA, resistance and the candles, okay? And then you basically sell it when a candle closes below the 55 EMA. So you would have bought into it right there around the 53.75, and you would have sold it at 7,000, right? 7,000. Now you're going to argue, I could have sold it up here. Well, yes, but you could have also sold it right here. You could have sold it right here. You could have sold it right here. You could have sold it right here. What this strategy ensures when you sell after a breakout or a close below the 55 EMA is that it ensures that you are able to ride it to the maximum distance, okay? So it weighs the risk, it weighs the I guess the pros and the cons for you, right? If you don't use this strategy, you have the potential of closing it earlier, maybe over here, maybe over here, maybe over here, maybe here, right? But what if it bounced off of the 55 EMA and it just went off of there again? So 55 EMA is a really good gauge on a 1 hour chart. And if you had used that strategy right there, you would have gained yourself on this breakout right here, somewhere there, right here, you would have gained yourself a nice 28% with that strategy. So that is how we also confirm, guys, that this is wave 1, okay? I can analyze this chart for a long time, guys, but we're not going to do that. And we're going to say this is wave 2, and a wave 3 is forming, and we're going to guess there's a wave 5 somewhere in there, okay? Now, we don't know exactly, okay, if this is going to break it again or not. What if it forms kind of the same pattern, right? Like some sort of horizontal pattern, because here we notice that it is absolutely an ascending triangle, but it broke through, right? It broke through. So this candlestick strategy, you guys haven't seen me use it much, right? Because we haven't really seen a very bullish coin like this that's making an ascending triangle like that. Usually we see other types of coins that are making wedges. So now we look on 4 hour and we see that this is making a horizontal support like this, right? Sort of. And now we look on a lower time frame as well, and we say, hey, it's actually looking a little bit better on lower time frames. Hey, it actually looks a lot better on lower time frames. Let's see what we can conjure up with some support and resistance lines. And wow, that actually looks great. So we see it riding right now. We see it riding along this line right now so far, right? So far, that is what we see. And here, this is basically an A, and this could be a B, and we might actually get a C in here. We might get a C touch on the channel. That is ideally, you know, so right here, guys, because we're not getting, like, okay, let's round this out. Now that we've isolated some of the regions, okay, I'm just going to isolate the region that we see a lot of this occurring in the most, okay? And now right here as well, we see this as an ascending triangle, right? You see that as an ascending triangle right there, okay? So right now, what it wants to do is it wants to break outwards, up. It wants to break up more than down. That's what I would say. But of course, there's always a chance for failure, right? That's the pattern that we see it isolated in right now. Now, we don't really know if there's going to be an extended correction or not. And I won't get, guys, I won't get into a WXY in this one because it's going to be much too long. And you guys know how I feel about Elliott wave, double and Elliott wave, triple combos. They take a long time to explain it because there's a lot of theory behind it, and it's very overwhelming as well if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't mean that, I'm sorry guys, I don't mean that condescendingly, but like, there's a reason why I don't get into there's a reason why I don't get into harmonics as well, okay? The reason I don't get into harmonics because there are so many different Fibonacci numbers to remember, right? And if you are doing harmonics, you need to know your Elliott wave really well as well, because you got to be able to count wave structures, right? And Fibonacci as well. So that's why I don't really like to introduce harmonics, but I used to do it a little bit in the past. So but if people want me to get into harmonics, man, like I can get into that stuff, no problem. It's so fun using those. But they're more so for swing targets, I'd say, and not for day trading, so that's why I've never focused on it a lot. But anyways, I want to isolate this zone. That's you know, kind of in here right now, right? We kind of see it being isolated into here. If I were to draw some diagonal lines, just intersecting lines in general, right? So there's no doubt about it that in this area right here, something is going to happen, guys. I'm betting on it going up. I'm betting on it going up, right? To make the final fifth wave, and then it comes down. Okay? That is what I'm betting on. Because it needs to make that final fifth wave, and if you guys look at the retracement, like this one retraced, you know, right between the 382 and 0.5 region. This one already retraced a healthy amount, I'm guessing. We'll say all the way from the bottom of wave 2. Pretty much the same thing, right? It's still actually not really that respectable of a retracement yet. But some people would take it from the beginning of the breakout, and that's still only 382, but it is finding lots of support, right? So something is going to happen here, guys, and honestly, I think it's going to break up. Like, we're seeing it break up already right now, right? Do you guys see this? Do you guys see this? It's breaking up right now already. It wants to so badly. But you know what? Okay, I'm going to play out the scenarios. Regardless of what happens, guys, because we have, like, I bet you anything that this made a 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension ratio. Oh, it made a 1-to-1 extension ratio. Check that out, a 1-to-1 right there. Okay, well then we say to ourselves, if that one made a 1-to-1, then why the heck can't it make a 1.618 up there somewhere? Huh? Right? So I'm gonna take the average of here, and I don't want to take them all the way from the beginning of time. I want to take after the correction. Actually, yeah, sure it will. I want to get it very accurate. I'll take the absolute 1618. Okay, that's a pretty good one right there. 10,730. That's my guess, Satoshis, okay? I think that it's going to hit that right there. Let's see how sloped this is. Just for fun. Actually, I would probably say from the moving average. Excuse me. To be fair, where the moving average actually starts to register data, would officially count as the beginning of the wave, I'd say. That's pretty scary, right? No, really, look guys, look how scary that is. From where the 55 EMA starts, to the tip of that one, to where the bounce begins, to the tip of that one. So by extrapolation, let's say that it actually gets to a lower level. Worst case scenario gets to over here. I still bank in this zone somewhere over here. Now, I don't know how long this correction is going to go on for, but it definitely looks like it wants to break out, right? I mean, they already bounced off of the 55 EMA here many times, right? It might make an attempt to break out. It might not successfully do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. This whole area looks like it wants to do something right now. But my target stands, guys. Regardless of how long. I mean, you guys can take the chance yourselves, right? If this pattern does hold and it does break out like upwards, you guys just follow the same rules that I followed earlier, okay? You take that the extreme high, all right? Like, I would not go into this trade unless it was 100% with certainty higher than it broke out of here. And this number is 74, I'm just looking for the highest highs, 7495. 7495. We'll say 75. Not only does it need to break above 75, but it needs to successfully close above it, okay? Otherwise, you're going to get the same issue as you did last time, right over here, where I explained it. And then it broke down to a lower support down over here. See, everyone here thought as well, right? They thought, okay, this is now an established support. It's not going to break down. This right here. Well, guess what, guys? It did break down because it failed to close successfully above this high. So it broke down to make an extended correction. So, guys, if this fails, I'm telling you guys right now that if this fails right here, wherever it tries to break out, if it could break out of this line right here, and you guys go to your charts and you draw these lines out yourselves, because I don't want to go through these numbers. The numbers are irrelevant to me until I'm actually trying to get into a position. So guys, if it breaks down there, right, we could fall down to one of these regions, the strong buy zone right here, or we can even fall back down to the 0618 Fibonacci region. This is between like 6,000 and 6,200. And this one right here, I know I said I wouldn't say the numbers, but I'm saying it. This one is between 6,600 and 75, okay? Or sorry, 66 and 69 about. So once again, this one here is like 60 to 62. This first buy zone is between like 66 and 69 about. But we don't know yet, okay? But we're going to play out the scenario. We're going to play out the scenario. This one does bust upwards, okay? And it does bust upwards. Okay, it still needs to beat this high over here as well. Don't forget, it needs to beat this high as well. And the high here is like about 84.19. Okay, so that would be one of the targets that you'd want to set if you do enter a trade over here. I'm no financial advisor, don't ever forget that, guys. I'm just going to say it from my perspective from now on. So you enter a trade from here, and then you would set a target for 84.19 if it successfully closes above it, right? That's definitely one of the things that you could be doing, right? Just for long term, and then yeah. But of course, based on Fibonacci extension, like I mentioned earlier, my target still stands to be around right here, 10,730, 10,730 Satoshi. Okay, but I'm playing out all the scenarios for you guys where it breaks out here and it makes its way over there and this wave consolidation is done. I'm playing out the scenario for you where it breaks out, it breaks downwards as well, okay? It breaks downwards as well, and now we're looking at a new buy zone, breaks out of this support line here, and then it now becomes like more of a, it reaches this horizontal support line right here where there's a lot of price action between 66 and 69, right? And the worst case scenario is that this whole thing right here becomes the previous buy zone and it corrects to the 618 Fibonacci region. Right now it already corrected to the, or sorry, not the 618 Fib region. I'm just going to take it from right here where the impulse actually began, not the corrective one. Like here, it would be too extreme. It hasn't even retraced 382 yet. So here it's retraced about the 382 region, poking into the 0.5 as well. But the worst case scenario is if I take it from here, right? This one here is okay as well. It's reaching almost the 0.5. So the Fibonacci levels are definitely respectable. So I'm playing it all out for you guys here. I mean it. Like, you know, you buy the breakout. If it successfully closes above 7495, right? And then there's a lot of volume as well, and it started to become parabolic. And you would ride it to 84.19 as your first target. You might not hit it. Selling is up to you guys, right? You got to figure out. You got to be watching and managing your position. Awesome. If it beats that target, right, and you take profit there anyways, and it beats 84.19, then heck, you'd want to try to buy into strength maybe even, or I will buy into strength all the way to the 10,730 Satoshi there, right? So there's many plays. If it keeps doing an extended correction and it fails, then we fall to a buy zone between 6,600 and 6,900. And the worst case scenario, if this doesn't hold down here, it falls down to the 5,900 to the 6,200 Satoshi range. So, but either way, we still have a fifth wave that needs to be formed. And the fifth wave is going to come very, 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 very soon. Whether the fourth wave is right here, whether, you know, fourth wave is here, whether it's here, you know, it's going to be formed. And yeah, you want to get on, it. We look at the MACD right now, right? It's also looking very, very, very bullish as well. It's starting to become parabolic upwards like that. So it's looking good on there. On the 4 hour as well, it's looking very bullish, right? Looking very, very bullish. I have no other way to look at this right now. It's about to curve up on the daily. There's nothing in the daily yet. It's leveling off and actually finding support. On a 3 hour chart, it's looking parabolic soon. Yeah, so you guys have a chance here, like regardless of where the breakout is, you know, it's up to you guys once again. I'm not trading this coin. It was just requested. You know, let's just say you played worst case scenario where it ended up at the 618 Fib region down here again. Well, you know, you can still try to make a target of around 10,730, because the reason why these targets are still set regardless of how long or where the correction takes place is because we have a major dump sell-off here already. Wave 1 and 2 and 3's length and magnitude, they already give us a general direction of what wave 5 can do, right? That's what a technical analyst does. They look at the history of the chart, which gives us a general direction of what the future can do, right? We look at price action in history to try to use that as a prediction method, right? As a theory, as a methodology. So there's a chance right now to gain, you know, I'm gonna say 10,000 Satoshi. That's a you know, it's a pretty round number, right? And 10,000 Satoshi is a psychological number as well. And worst case scenario down here, you set your stop loss slightly lower than the channel. My stop loss is going to be very tight because it's such a high reward, low risk setup, right? Such a high reward, low risk setup. I mean, you can lose, say, 10% of your money, right? Set your stop loss at like around 5,300. And this is what I'm going to do. Every time I say set your, I just mean me, okay guys? You target around 10,000 Satoshis there, and you got yourself a 68% gain potential with about a 7-to-1 risk to reward setup, okay? With a risk to reward setup, and you have a chance to lose 10% as well, right? Regardless of where you buy it. Regardless of where you buy it, the target stays the same. Even if you bought it right there, right, and you're still targeting 10,000 Satoshis, and then you still set your stop loss around 5,300, your risk to reward ratio sucks. Your risk to reward ratio is 1-to-1, because now you got a chance to lose 28%, and you got a chance to gain 31%, right? So the higher you buy up, the more risk you're going to have. So that's why it's important for us to confirm a breakout if we buy it here. If we confirm a breakout and we target 10,000 Satoshis, right, then our risk is actually much better, because once we confirm our breakout up right here, then that previous resistance now becomes a support. So now you can set maybe a 5% loss even, right? Slightly below this resistance once you've confirmed the breakout with that method I told you earlier. And now your risk to reward ratio is amazing. It's like 10-to-1 almost, with a 30% gain. Sure, you don't gain as much as if it were to fall down here, but your risk itself is actually really low, because this support turns, or that resistance turns to support. Now, if that one doesn't even hold, right? If this support holds right here strongly, awesome. Then that's also the best case scenario as well, right? The best case scenario, because now you're targeting 10K Satoshi. Your stop loss is about 5,300 Satoshis here, and that's like around a 5 risk to reward ratio as well. So that's the second case. Now the third case is when it breaks down, maybe it forms a, I don't know, some wedge pattern in here, right? Like some wedge pattern in here like that hasn't even formed yet, you know? Maybe it doesn't even break up right now. Maybe it doesn't even break up. It forms a wedge pattern here, right? And then it breaks out a little bit lower near this other buy zone. Then that risk to reward is still decent too at 10,000. If you set your stop loss slightly lower than that buy zone, maybe to 6,400 right here, and then that's still a pretty decent risk to reward as well. The only not ideal one is to buy right now and take a chance and sit on it. That's a bad scenario to do, right? That's a bad, unless you want to allocate your stop loss right now already, right? Unless you want to do your stop loss right now already, then and you're basically gambling because there's no confirmation yet. All I see is that a breakout is going to occur because the fifth wave is going to happen, and it's targeting over 10,000 Satoshis right now. That's what it's targeting. The only question is, how far down is it going to go about during the consolidation, right? That's another question. How much further down? And the further down it goes, of course it's going to affect the target that it can reach. And the original target, it's actually about 11,300 Satoshis. So I'm factoring it in a very conservative target as well, taking into account that we could get a correction that's further, right? So this is a conservative approach as well, where you're allocating yourself a tolerance level to make sure that your risk level is actually managed. So my risk level is very, very low when I go for a lower target in general, right? And I try to time my entry depending on where it is. So I'm looking at different scenarios. I'm going to buy on the breakout, right? I'm going to buy on the breakout when it beats or passes resistance and it parabolically moves up with volume and it closes successfully, right? That's one of the things I would do. And the second thing I would do is that's my only condition to buy right now. Is if that happens, that's my only condition, myself personally, okay? Because I'm not going to buy it and take a chance that it comes down and just be stopped out. That to me is not the better choice, although it may be to some people depending on how you manage your risk, right? And then the other option is that it falls down to that lower support level I mentioned, right? Where we're kind of in the middle of the pack for risk to reward. But either way, what you want to do is you want to make sure you acknowledge this channel. You want to acknowledge this channel because it has acted as a very strong support for about a month already, right? Well, not a month, but since the beginning of time, that is what we see. And we also want to acknowledge this channel, but I do, right, this as well right here. We definitely want to acknowledge that, right? So something is going to happen very soon, guys. But the target still stays the same, taking a very conservative approach, which is 10,000 Satoshis. So if you guys enjoy these videos that I made, I would hope if you guys like them, just maybe upvote them on Steemit as well. I love Steemit. It's friggin' awesome. Love it. So yeah, like, subscribe, you know, the whole 9 yards for Twitter and YouTube. And I like to post a lot of good content in there as well to try to help out the community and just have more eyes in the field, like I always say. So if you have more people that are pointing things out, you might have a higher chance of catching some trades that you might not have otherwise caught, right? And if you guys especially love the channel, you're welcome to donate to my dog's cryptocurrency piggy bank as well. She's got her own little one there that's mainly used for like tequila and vodka and drugs, lots of drugs. She loves drugs. Don't worry, guys, my sense of humor will come back very soon. I mean, it's just Luna, you know, like I'm really worried about her. Like she's just been partying like crazy over the holidays, like by herself. Like I think we've talked about this in the past few videos, right? Where she's getting no matches at all on doggydating.com. Apparently they don't like them small and petite and black. So yeah, I mean like all the labs and all the huskies and the yeah, they're not really into my 6 pound little Pomeranian Yorkie, you know? It's like so she's not really doing too well at all. Like she's hitting it off a little bit with the Chihuahuas, but they're really creepy. They're like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing, mamacita? My little caliente? You want the party, eh?" Yeah, she's not really a big fan of that either, you know. So she's kind of staying away from Chihuahuas. So she's been, you know, going off on a little bit of a tangent lately, like you know, these lines, for example, and just doing a little bit too much drugs and just drinking a little bit as well. So that's kind of why my sense of humor is not really all there yet. I've just been stressed out a little bit about life, you know. And when you've got a dog who's having these kind of problems, like you wake up in the morning and then all that you see is like a black dog lying down there, you know, in her bed, sleeping there. And you're like, oh my God, is she dead? And most of the time she's just sleeping, but you know, she's passed out quite often. That's all I can say. And it's not just from normal sleeping, and then she tries to hide it, you know. She tries to hide it by drinking Listerine. That's becoming a problem as well. She doesn't understand how to gurgle, right? Dogs can't gurgle apparently. So yeah, like it's just lots of liquids in general, like lots of fluids that she's consuming, an abnormal rate, like the amount of times I've had to take her to the vet now. So that's probably why my sense of humor is not really 100% here yet. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll catch each other down the road. See you later, man. And ladies and gentlemen, I acknowledge all genders. I just want to be clear.